So I started crying, because Carl had lied to me. And I had gone all the way across the United States to get help. I thought, oh, I'm going to show up with a lawyer, and I'm going to have people with me that are going to back me up, and I'm going to get my daughter back. And when he told me that he lived with his mom and that he didn't have any connections, he didn't even have a job, I just went into complete shock. I was so mad at myself, and I was so worried about my daughter. She told me once, cry me a river. I have cried oceans for her. I have longed to have her with me since she was in my tummy. I never wanted her to go away. It was awful. They sent me adoption papers for her, and I couldn't believe it. I was so dead inside. I cried and cried for 2 days, and I finally got the nerve to call Mom and tell her where I was, so they wouldn't worry about me, because I was supposed to meet Aunt Betty and see Stacy, and they had gone to the airport to meet me, and I wasn't there. I didn't show up. I couldn't imagine what Stacy was going through. I was so beside myself. I called Mom. I told her I was in New York, that I had gone out there to get some help, trying to get Stacy back from Aunt Betty. Mom hung up on me. I just felt dead. I was so sad. The only comfort I had was I believed that Aunt Betty would do the right thing with her, that she would tell her that I loved her and that I just needed more time. I don't know what they told her. Every time I called home, Mom would just hang up on me. She wouldn't even talk to me. And I stayed with the Corbels for 2 weeks. I couldn't stay there any longer. His mom was an Italian Catholic family. I mean, they didn't want me there. I had such a low self-esteem, and to them I was ugly, not good enough for their son. And she was fighting with her son about me being there at their house and calling me a whore. So I left, and I went down to one of the clubs, dancing clubs, to see if I could get a job. But you couldn't just walk into a club and get a job on the East Coast. You had to have an agent. They had to book you into a club. So I was on the street for a week, not knowing what to do. And then one day Carl showed up and he said, I'll take you, I found out where the agents are, and I'll take you, and you can find you an agent, and you can get some work, and you can get on your feet, and you can go back or help your daughter or get her back, whatever you can do. I'll help you as much as I can. He was really sorry for lying to me. I guess he just never thought he'd ever see me again in Phoenix, and all of his spiel and, tough guy act was just that, an act. So I started dancing in the East Coast. I didn't make any money. I wasn't like them. When I danced for Omar, he didn't care that I didn't know how to dance. He just liked that people there thought that I was his eyes, because that's what he told them. She's my eyes. When I'm not here, she's my eyes, and she'll tell me what's going on wrong here. And he told me, you don't have to dance for the guys. I pay your way. Because I had moved into his house, and so I never did develop those dancer skills, I just went out there and had fun on stage. I never wore heels or anything either. I just fooled around out there on each set. When I'd go on stage, all the guys would go off and play games and go to the bar and move away from the stage because I didn't have a routine. I didn't have an act. So I didn't make a lot of money. I didn't make any money. I mean, I made enough to get me a little something to eat and buy a pair of nylons, and because I wore nylons on stage. And that was it. I never really had more than that to my name ever. And then Mom called me and she told me that I needed to sign those papers. Well, first Mom sent a private investigator to find me, which he did. And he told me to call my mom, that it was about my daughter. And I thought my daughter was hurt. I couldn't believe it. I felt like I wasn't worthy of calling her. I didn't feel like I could call and ask how she was. I was afraid to call. I didn't know what to do. I was by myself. I was alone. I was scared. Never really had a place to stay. I just prayed I'd have enough each night to get a hotel room. Or one of the girls would make friends with me and I could stay with her for a couple of days till they started getting pissed off at me and treating me bad, and I'd have to move out. And never had anything. Never had nothing. When I left Phoenix, I left all my clothes there. I just took a couple of things with me, a couple of changes of clothes. That was it, because I was planning on coming back. I had left everything. So anyway, I was down in Florida, and I met this girl, and all of the girls always picked on me. They would beat me up, start fights with me, blame it on me, I'd get fired. Had to go find a new job. They just didn't like me. So this girl told me, you know, if you tell people you have cancer, you don't have to tell them anything else than that. They won't pick on you because there's a rule, you know, like a street rule, that you don't mess with somebody that's dying. You don't have to embellish on it, but it'll keep them from picking on you. Just put it out there. I only had said it once. Then Mom told me she wanted me to come home. I was so glad, because at that point I was ready to commit suicide. I was scared. I was just so glad I was going to get to see my daughter. Then when I got home, Mom met me and picked me up in Safford, and we went and had coffee, and I said, well, where's Trish? She said, she's home with your dad. She had married Gary Large again. And I said, Mom, he's going to do the same thing to her. He didn't have to trust him around her. She said, oh, I'll kill him if he touches her. That was no comfort to me. When we got back to the house that night in Loma Linda, Mom said, you can't stay here. And I said, Mom, I have cancer. Please let me stay. I love you. You know, I wanted her to want me to stay to help me, and then the next day when she started asking me questions, I would tell her the truth and we would work it out. But when I woke up the next morning, she had already told everybody that I had said that. She didn't even give me a chance to tell her it wasn't true. I just wanted her to keep me there. I just wanted her to love me. I just wanted her not to hurt me. And she just used it against me. Before I could even have a conversation with her, she said, you gotta leave with Jerry and Tina. They're going back to Tucson. They had just come out for Easter. And you're going with them. And I was like, Mom, I really need to talk to you. She goes, Not now, they're leaving now, you gotta go. She just pushed me in the car and we left. And I was like, oh man. Like, I got to Mammoth and Todd came up to me and he goes, do you have cancer? And I go, Todd, it's none of your business, because I wanted to tell Mom. I wanted to talk to her about it. I didn't want this to be a big lie. I just wanted to talk to her. I wanted her to